Okay, guys. Hello. Let me adjust this. So I had planned to start the episode with freestyling on this beat, but I don't really know how to freestyle on a beat. So I'm just gonna let it play out because it says it's copyright free, right? I don't know if it's I don't know if it's copyright free. Let me turn it off, y'all, just in case it ain't copyright free. I don't know how people do this freestyle thing on the beat. Freestyle on the beat, make your shoes fleet. Everybody knows that I got the sheet. You know you a freak in the beat, and I can't really say shit too much because other people that know me listen to this, and I can't really freestyle too much because I will cuss. And I don't really need people to know that I cuss. You know that. You know when you got multiple personalities, but you don't want people to know your other side of you because if they found out the other side of you, then you got some questions to answer right. But yeah. But yeah, how do people freestyle? I don't know how people freestyle. I try it all the time, but it's not something that I'm good at. It's not something I'm good at. I can write a poem. I can write a poem. I can freestyle a poem. I can take up this pen and tell you when it went to the world and said hello, my dear pen. You flow and mow and do and so and low and co and mo. I don't really know how to make up a poet. I don't know how to make up a poem about a pen. I don't know how to freestyle like a rapper in the end, but I can make a pen move across a paper in the end. I'm just saying random sentences that end with N and maybe in the beginning of time. Anyways, guys, welcome to another episode of Platt's Portrait. This is Platt's Poetry. This is Poetry Week. And this is the Poetry Week edition of the podcast, season 3. And I do hope you guys have been having a wonderful Poetry Week so far. I've been having a wonderful Poetry Week so far. My most thing that I'm happy about for this Poetry Week so far, I'm going to extenuate the so far because I'm so excited. On Tuesday's post, you got 29 likes. That is extra. That is exceptional. 29 likes is exceptional because last year we barely got to 15 likes on a post. So that just tells me that we grew and we got better this year. And this year is gonna be this year's Poetry Week is awesome. 23 likes on day 2, 21 likes on day 3. If I can get 1 like. If I can get 20 likes per post, every post for Poetry Week, I will be the happiest boy. The happiest man, the happiest Platt there is. I'm gonna move this mic further away from it because I feel like yelling today, and I don't wanna deaf anybody. I feel like talking loud. I feel like speaking loudly today, and I don't really wanna get in anybody's eardrums. I don't wanna break anybody's ears, because today's gonna be about story time. Anyway, I started it. Let's get to the script. Because you guys know there's a script, right? But I'm over here trying to rap on beats. Like I know how to rap. That's the joke over here at Platt's Portrait. Where you always get the funny, the stupidness, the stupid part of play. So, episode 2. Get Malaguguda here. Throughout life, I find that it's best practice to set goals and then break those goals into miniature objectives, which are easier to, pardon my repetition, obtain, And when people ask me how I published my first poetry collection, I have to pause for a moment and think to myself, how exactly did I do it? It had been a dream of mine to see my name on a published book of writing since 2016, after I finished my first book and started writing my second. Beautiful stories. Beautiful stories, I might add. Those were very beautiful stories. Those books back in the day were very beautiful books. And I would indeed recommend you reading them if I didn't remove them from the internet completely because of my complete and utter shame of them, because they're not at the level of writing that you would expect of me in today. But anyway... Beautiful stories. Throughout the years, I have written 6 books, and the poetry one seemed to be the one easiest to publish. But of all the books, it took the longest to make. It took exactly 3 years to make the poetry book. In today's episode, we're gonna be doing a lot of story times that I hope will teach you guys some lessons around the whole publishing your first book and stuff. But mostly and all honestly, this episode is meant to bring some laughter and joy into you at the end of the week, because it is Friday. It's Friday, guys. It's Friday. We love a good Friday. Don't we love Friday, guys? Anyways, so this is just my story. A portion of my story, and there are thousands of stories of self-published and traditional published authors on the internet, and I encourage you to check out their stories as well. Now that we've gotten through all the funny stuff, the joke stuff, and all this stuff, let's get into writing. How do you come up with so many ideas? Now, I've gotten this question a lot this year from many people, actually, and to be honest, answering this question does not get any easier or any harder when people ask me, because honestly, I don't know. Sorry. It's the truth, guys. Most days I just be vibing with my thoughts in my head, then suddenly something starts to stick. Recently, over on the poetry page on Insta, you should follow us, by the way, at Platt's Poetry over on Instagram, cause it does be lit over there. I post it. It does be lit over on Platt's Poetry. It does be lit. It does be lit over on Platt's Poetry. It's always lit. It's always amazing. It's always a joy. So I think that you should just follow the Platt's Poetry page. Anyway, it's always lit. Just saying. To be very honest, I posted a poem recently called "Love Is," and to be very honest, I was just sitting down in my room at the time, humming that song, "What you won't do for love, you try everything." Anyway, that song, right? And then that love part just got stuck in my head, and I started talking to myself, going like, love is. Then I laughed, like one of those, if you ever heard me laugh. It's kind of crazy how I laugh. It's like, no, that's a fake laugh. But my laugh is kind of mad, and when I laugh, it's kind of funny. And it hit me. Love is laughter. That was what came to me. Love is laughter, but not just any kind of laughter. It's crazy laughter. It's laughter that doesn't make any sense. It's ludicrous laughter. And I was like, let's make this shit poetic. And I recommend. I remembered a poem from my poetry book that goes, "Love is like luminous light leaping from the still laying waters of lavish darkness under a moonless night. Love is like the lamb-colored snow lighting dark land. Love is the lucky pot of gold at the end of a leprechaun's rainbow near the sand." Listen to me, let me say it again. Love is like a luminous light leaping from the still laying waters of lavish darkness under a moonless night. Love is like the lamb-colored snow lighting dark land. Love is the lucky pot of gold at the end of a leprechaun's rainbow near the sand. And I remember how for that poem, what I did two speakers. I did the heart and the mind. So I was like, let me do this again. Let me do this two speaker thing again, because it worked the first time, right? So I bring this in again. I bring in. So what I did the first time, I did two minds. So I was like, let me do this again. Except this time I added another perspective. I had this perspective of the spirit, And I don't know about you guys, but when I switch up perspective, I switch up everything there. When I'm writing from the heart, you will know. When I'm writing from the mind, you're gonna know. When I'm writing from the spirit, you're gonna know. And that's how you know. And I don't know about you. So my spirit was like, love is ludicrous laughter, bros. And my mind was like, no, love is a divine orchestra. And my heart was like, love is the pain of learning the violin for the first time. Listen, I was in my room talking to myself, going off. My notes app was on fire. And then I finished, and then I finished. That's the joke. That's a joke, guys, because you never finish writing a piece of work. You never finish. You never really finish anything. I close the notes app. I do my little homework, and then I go to bed because you know what, bro, you got school in the morning, and on my way to school I'm reading this poem. I thought, and it ain't as fire. It ain't as fire as I remember writing it. So guess what I do? Guess what I do, guys? Guess what I do as any other writer does? I edit that poem, and I make it even better. I layer on more similes and more description. I took auditory imagery to town, and once again thought to myself, this shit is the shit. This is fire. I have done it again. I've done it again, and it is time to show the world my new magnum opus, my new masterpiece. It is time to stun you guys with this beauty that is Platt Poetry. That is Platt's Poetry. I close the notes app. I designed the posts in my little Canva app, and I move forward. I notice there's an open mic on campus, and I'm like, let me go perform this poem, this masterpiece, this absolute work of literature. I print it out because I still can't remember this poem. It's new, it's bold, it's beautiful, and I wanted this recorded so I could post it today. By the way, you should look out for this poem being posted today if you haven't already seen it, bros. Because you're getting 3 posts today, you're getting a poem today, you're getting a performance, and you're getting this podcast episode. And I'm here reading this poem, and I'm like, this is awful. Listen. I'm here reading this poem, and this poem is awful, right? Guess what I do? I edit it again. I made it performance ready. People were already seeing part one of this poem, and here I was looking at it, thinking it was terrible, while they were telling me it was perfect, it was beautiful. I finish it again. That word again, finish. I step up to perform in front of all these absolute masters of the stage. I met these dudes like a couple weeks ago where they were having a poetry show, and one of my friends told me to come along to watch the show, and I was amazed. Frankly, I was almost afraid of one of the vice president, because he scares me. I'm not gonna lie, he scares me. But the poets, I was like, I'm nervous. I'm a little nervous. These guys are masters. A little worried. When I started reading, oh gosh, when I started reading my poem, after all the edits I done did. After I done told myself this poem was done. After I done said for the second time that this was my crown jewel. Bros, Platts, guess what I did? I changed the poem again, and mid-performance, I was sick with it though. Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed I was changing up the poem because none of them ain't see the poem beforehand, right? So I was there. But back to the question: how do I write these poems? and when do I know a poem is good enough for the public eye, or how I find inspiration? Truth is, I draw inspiration. Inspiration is the easiest part. I draw inspiration from everything around me. From the music I listen to the conversations I've had, from the past poems, and even the memories I wish I could forget. And the way I write is a mystery to even me. Because sometimes I black out, come back, and some beautiful literature is in front of me. But as I say, the next day I start thinking this beautiful thing is ugly. Which brings me back to the question, which makes most of us stutter. When is a poem good enough to publish? If you're anything like me, never. There are poems in my poetry book right now I would rewrite completely or remove. There are poems that I change while reading them months later. I could write a story. Have it be the best-selling story ever written, and I will look at it and say, I could do better. But the thing with me is I'm a perfectionist that knows perfection does not exist. Listen again. I'm a perfectionist that knows perfection does not exist. So what happens is a part of me comes in and comes in me, and that part of me is like, you've done enough. Calm down. We could do more, but we don't got the time. We don't got the time, Platt, for that. So let's relax. Let's calm down. This work is good. It's better than yesterday, and it's okay for people to see it now. You see, if I didn't have, you see, if I didn't have that sense in me to tell me to stop, I'd never stop, because again, I'm a perfectionist. My editor seems to be even a bigger perfectionist than me, because he even commented on it. So I gave him 80 to 90 poems for this book, and we ended up with 56. He chopped poems after I chopped poems. I was at 120 when I started. You see, it's perfectionism with sense. That's what I operate under. So how did I pick those 56 poems to publish? They were the 56 poems my brain looked at and said, we've made them good enough. And good enough for me is different than you. Because many of my friends tell me my good enough is a standard above their good enough. And some friends look at me and say my good enough ain't good enough for them. So I implore you to look into yourself. So this is the first lesson, the first story time. I implore you to look into yourself and decide to define what is your basic standard, what is good enough for you, especially if you are a perfectionist. Once you know what you are, once you know what you think is good, once you know what you think is awesome, once you know in your heart which things are good, which things are bad, which things are perfect, which things are not perfect, which things make life beautiful. Once you know that, you're good. Because deciding what to put out there is 99% of the problem. Because it's not writing. Writing isn't the problem, because we are always writing. It's what we want to put out there. Anyway, so 15 minutes in, 16 minutes in, sorry, I haven't performed the poem yet. So it's time to perform a poem. I'm going to perform the poem I posted. I'm posting today. And you're going to notice that there's a difference. There's always going to be a difference. No two poem performances are the same, bro. Anyway, so let's go. I ask myself again, what is love really? My spirit jumps in to say love is like ludicrous laughter that leaps from the lowest depth of your soul into burning air, dispersing to douse flames of despair, so that all who can hear fill their air with this joy. A joy that springs a sea of butterflies to fill your stomach, lace minds with wind chimes of summer, and line the walls of your heart with rose petals, violets, lavender, lilacs, and daffodils, all as if it were fall. Silly is this joy, because this joy drizzles jazz into your bones and makes it so with every beat. As your feet kiss land's teeth, you meet Greek poets who only know how to speak folly even at their peak. Silly is this joy, because this joy is a drug like no other, my dear brother. It is not just free. It is responsible for the conception of life throughout reality, figuratively, of course, unless otherwise, then literally. An addictive substance that scoffs at the word temporary and instead binds itself to us permanently. Silly is this joy. Silly is this joy we call love, because love, if nothing else, is ludicrous laughter. My mind jumps in, jump. Silence all. No. Listen. Love is a divine orchestra of whatever, producing melodies that make even those drenched in hate shiver. The composer and conductors are masters of instruments, them so clever that even the deaf may hear love songs through vibrations and frequencies which dance beyond the limitations of silence's quiver, to bring forth sound like no other that lasts forever, a sound so beautiful. Angels stop to weep tears of joy when trumpets of today smile at young lovers locked in play on a random Tuesday, as they say to each other, I wish eternally here we could stay. A sound so breathtaking. It shushes storms and hurricanes just to make sure a boat carrying diamonds reaches the shore in time for an engagement's encore. A sound so precious we do not risk saying or speaking or vibrating it to everyone or everything. A sound so powerful. A fetus within a mother's womb calms when sang to, and prayers whispered in the willow or shouted from the mountaintop are answered in the plenty and not the few. Love, 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 love is a divine orchestra of limitless sound. The heart screams with its beat. No, 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 no. Listen. Love is like listening. Sorry. Love is like learning to play the violin. A simple task that one realizes quickly is more complicated than they originally thought it would be. One goes in thinking on the first day they shall create beautiful melodies from heaven, when instead they bring screeching from hell as they burn in the pain beyond description. Pain that sits in the brain, wondering which walls to tear down first, which insecurities to unearth, which vulnerable floors are ripe for attack. Pain that looks upon shattered hearts as if they are now new, and says that today is the day we have our first lesson. Learning the violin is a painful experience for all around, to the point one must often practice alone and on their own without earplugs in, and hope that this painful sound ends in bold beauty and cowardly silence. Learning the violin is a painful experience, and then suddenly one day you've learned. No more pain, just beautiful melodies from heaven. Love, 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 love. Listen to me again. Love, 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 love. If nothing else, is like learning the violin for the first time. And I jump in to shush all of them, and I say, no, 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 and no. Love is everything. From the ludicrous laughter that spreads joy to all, to the orchestra of whatever that brings vibrations wherever and to whoever. To the painful and lonely process of learning the violin. Love. Love. Love is powerful joy, born out of practice with oneself in spite of pain. Love, if nothing else, is everything. Yeah, and that's good. Sorry for the terrible singing. I'm feeling very happy today. Next section is about editing. Editing. Once upon a time. So if you are any of my friends, I apologize in advance. Me really chat like this often. So anyway, once upon a time I was on Twitter, minding my business, as one does, and I am there scrolling and sharing my poems to build the brand, to expand the brand, get followers of Platt's Poetry. Then one of my mutuals starts hosting one little poetry space. You see me? No. Me go so boops. Me make a boops, you know. Me make a boops and jumping cause me want to see the pre and thing. People, let me tell you this. Make me tell you this. Once again, I found myself in the presence of geniuses. Geniuses. These people compare things that I didn't even know were comparable. You had sensuous and serious poems coming together in classic Shakespearean manner and Jamaican dub style. I was for the most part intimidated, but me step up to the mic, do my thing, no, massive, massive. All right, let me get back to the Queen's English. I guess it's the King English these days. Rest in peace, Her Majesty. Platt. I went on and did a poem from the book called Wish, and everyone loved it. I am feeling big now. I start coming back regularly. One night, Simon the writer enters the space. If you guys don't know who Simon is, he's a legend. Videographer, video editor, coach, editor, teacher, and of course, a writer. I'm gonna link his social medias down below. The way the host introduced Simon, though, had me, as Dan would say, nervous. One of my favorite Jamaican influencers, Life of King or Dan, him always say me nervous, and then him do a dance. Me love when him dance, and people after Simon go introduce, after Simon get introduced, me really well nervous. First time me I meet the brother, right? The poem he performed was called Real Body Woman. And oh gosh, it was a wonderful poem about loving thick women, Wonderful poem. I must say, I if I had a copy of it, I'd read it for you guys. Awesome poem. In a sense, the thing did shut. Right? Light up the space. I swear, I sound like this not naturally. So he kept on coming in and kept on performing these banger of poems, one after the other and after the other. We became good friends, right? And we kept going back to the poetry space together, and we worked off each other's energy and vibe. He outperformed me at all times, Know your place, youth. They even suggested that Simon and I start a podcast together. Simon and I talked about it, but we never really made it to the planning stage, schedules and all those things, In the meantime, I have finished all the poems that are supposed to go in the poetry book, all 120 of them, and I've cut it down to 90 and 80, The poems I decided were good enough. Here's the thing now. Killing my pride and ego was hard because sometimes you need professionals to look over your work before you send it out there. I don't want to... now, that just means professionalize as in an editor. Now, you don't really need an editor. I just say an editor is a good investment to make because you never know how excellent your work is or what is missing from your work, and editors can be the bridge that help to tell you what is missing, what is wrong, what can be added, So I didn't want no stranger editing my book, so I contact Simon the writer, and lol. I wrote lol as I legit in the script. I have LOL. And I just said lol instead of laughing out loud. And I continue anyway. I was so timid and shy. I walked up in his DMs like a wuss. Good night / good afternoon, Simon. So, I just finished compiling 5 poetry books and want someone to proofread them for me and such. How much would you want for compensation? That's exactly what I typed, exactly what I sent to the man. I was nervous, like when in previous podcasts when I tell you when I'm shooting my shot and I start making up words, like teetering that actually exist in the English language. Them where I submitted staying at people in inbox. Very nervous. Simon replies, "What's your budget?" Now you see me well nervous now, cause me like, what if me not have no money for this, cause me don't know what things are working on. It's my first time, right? The first time, me need to look at assistance. Me dunce now. Me kind of dunce when it comes to certain things, and this is one of them things there. So me now not really have no know much about these things, right? Cost wise. So I tell you, I got $100. Now, in Jamaican, that's 15,000. No, I think it's 15,000. Let me. At the time, the exchange rate was 150. That's $15,000. Yes, yes. So that was my amount of money that I had set aside for this, right? One thing about me, but I was willing to go above. I was willing to find scoops around and find some money. One thing about me, with me and my dreams, I'ma spend money if it is necessary on my dreams to be a best-selling poet. Eventually, I'm gonna make it. Eventually, I don't know when, but I'm gonna make it eventually. So, if Simon did say $500, probably woulda find a way. So I emailed Simon the drafts and waited for his invoice. Come back around and the amount. Come back around the amount, and I ended up giving him a bonus at the end because of how much fun we ended having together. And I really felt like 25,000 Jamaican dollar wasn't enough, based on all the work that we did end up doing together. Simon and I. Simon and I have many stories together since we edited the book, and even during the edit of the book, I could tell hundreds of them. Even how he got COVID right before starting editing, or how I was in the middle of my Cape classes starting meetings with him to go over some. I was in the middle of my Cape physics class, right? And one thing about physics, it was in the next session, or it was in the session before. I don't know really which one, but I missed a chunk of physics class that day. And if you really miss physics class, because once you miss something, you didn't show. But yeah, me glad the day. I think it's early morning them days. They went school, did they online, online school. You can't have enough things that go on. Oh, but yeah, going through final drafts with Simon in the middle of classes, but my favorite parts of working with Simon was that he made me a better writer. There were poems that I didn't think could get better, but he insisted could be made better, and he was right. One of the poems in the very beginning of the book, My Muse, was made better because of his ideas, feedback, and input. And as I said, he also broke my heart in the cutting of a few poems, but that only made the book better in the end, because he was honest with me, he was truthful, and that's really a big thing you need in life. And obviously, it was his idea to consolidate the book into one complete thing rather than 5 separate things. The moral of the story, guys, I know I was rambling. I know I probably tell a bunch of foolishness of chat things, and it's probably going to be very weird for someone friend and hear me quote such like this. But the moral of the story: get an editor. It only serves to make your work better, and some editors become your lifelong friends. And don't be afraid to spend money on your dreams. I know editing seems expensive, and but you can make a deal, strike a deal, or just save up money. You can't expect to spend no money and publish perfection, because perfection requires a village, unless you are divinity itself. Perfection, especially in art, is expensive. You pay for perfection in art. You know how much expensive it is for the Mona Lisa or a Van Gogh or a Starry Night, or you pay for perfection. You pay for artistry. You must pay for artistry, and artistry is expensive. Anyway, here are 2 versions of My Muse. The first one before Simon got to it that I thought was perfect, and the one after it. You should leave in the comments below which one you prefer. Wow. I'm sorry. That was not supposed to happen. That was inappropriate. Anyways, let's go. Yeah. So this is the first one before it was edited. How do I read this again? I don't remember now. Well, I think of how to read this. No, I can't play that. No. How are you guys doing? I I'm having way too much fun. I'm having way too much fun. Oh my god. Hey guys, alright. Enough foolishness, Okay, I actually explode the script. Okay, so let's go. Your smooth skin, your joyous laughter, your messy hair, your sweet voice, closed lips, small yet plump in design, open lips. We find an unforgettable but indescribably priceless smile. Your harsh silences driven by your body's tuned tones, your frustrations and your frowns aren't deterrents pushing me away, rather incentives to stay. Your sweet sultry embrace, a rare reality, but a permanent in my memory, a scent so savory on a body of such grace, Helen of Troy, an unwanted snake in your wake. Your beauty dwarfs Aphrodite's charm. Athena lives in jealousy of your brain's ability. Ares himself stands perplexed by your bravery and success. Outing green flames, scaring monsters and sages into their cages. I feel the pages rage, hence I conclude to name this poem after a line wouldn't sum up the lyricism used, so I'll call it like you. I'll call it after you, my muse. Okay? That was the poem. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. It's always funny going back to your old poems and reading them. So let's go. This is the updated version in the book. I do hope you guys like this version. Your smooth skin of cushioned melanin, your joyous laughter petite but ever echoing, your messy hair often in locked ponytails of two, your sweet voice that marches above the common pitch of few, your closed lips sit small and plump beside chiseled dips, your opened lips reveal within an unforgettable, ever indescribable and ever priceless smile, your frame curves against the horizon, your shimmering eyes hold sunset's reflection, your gaze warms the coldest souls, your sweet sultry embrace grasps my heart and smashes my walls, a rare reality that sits permanently within my memory halls, your scent savory and tantalizing, your personality innocent and commanding, your mind is of divine grace, nicely laced within you a bountiful spirit that is ever giving bounty. If a war were to be fought for you, the military might sent for you would make those that battled over Helen of Troy nothing more than unwanted specks of dew on history's screens, millions of ships sailing into monster-saturated seas, knowing well you have chosen the greatest king to defend your sovereignty, you, to be succinct, you, my love, you, your bravery, your beauty dwarfs Aphrodite's polished charms, you, my love, you, Athena lives in jealousy of your brain's ability, Ares himself stands perplexed by your bravery and success, the world would sit in sorrow upon your death, angels would cry, lands would break, the sea would swallow itself, and God himself in glee would welcome your return to heaven. Still, in spite of your excellence, you are not without flaws, your harsh silences driven by your body's tuned tones, your misplaced frustrations, your frantic frowns can be straining to my mind, straining to my heart, straining to my spirit. At times it feels like I am tiptoeing around your anger, dodging the daggers of your insecurity, fighting a war for a heart that I may never win. Still, these flaws and feelings aren't deterrents pushing me away from your immaculate existence, rather incentives to stay and go the distance. Eventually, your drawbridge will fall for me. You will invite me in willingly, and one lucky day I will meet your heart's beat. While this may take time, know that patience and I are kin, and I have no difficulties waiting for a muse as inspiring as you, even if fate, sir, severs my ties to you forever. I will wait an eternity for someone just as electrifying as you. Poem, my muse. And that is just... Which one do you prefer? Which one do you think I prefer, guys? It's kind of obvious which one I prefer. Anyways, but guys, yeah, so you see what editors can do. You see how on one end it was short, compacted, lacked emotion, lacked exposition, lacked, it was lacking, but then the second one was expansive, beautiful, blessing, and just filled with joy, right? Yeah. Let's move on. I don't know. Well, how much time we have left? 40 minutes. We got lots of time. Illustration and publication. Tariq. I always take every opportunity I can to big up my friend Tariq and his art. He and I have been friends since the 9th grade, which is 7th, 8th, 10th. I don't know, 10th grade, 9th. All right, I don't understand. So there's 7, there's 8th. First form, second form, third form. Third form. Let me just say third form, I don't really know which we don't really know. So third form. Yeah, so we've known each other for 7 years after that. 7 years before. So in total, we've known each other 7 years, been friends since the third form. So he was the best deputy leader I had seen and could have asked for, even if he was playing lacrosse on the field. But most importantly, he's the illustrator of my book. I gave him an idea and he ran with it, delivering on my requests a week early, and I made sure to pay him as he requested. Funnily enough, Tariq and I joke about this often these days. He wanted me to pay him $8,000 or $5,000 in total for all the work he did, right? The cover, the back, and the 4 images that are inside the book. I mean, I really could have taken advantage of him, because while on the internet, all the internet illustrators were charging like $30,000 just to do the cover alone, right? And I was just there like, bro, you're really gonna do all this work for $5K? Yeah, but I support my friends like I support Zendaya, and that's a principle I stand by. So, if Zendaya were to release a bottle of water tomorrow, I would buy it. And if my friends were to release a bottle of water tomorrow, I'd buy it. Because that is how I roll. I support my friends like I support Zendaya because, that's just the standard. I love Zendaya. So, I gotta love my friends the same way. But, yeah. So, me and Tariq joke about that a lot. There are no... So the way Tariq and I met was in a human and social biology class. We were what you call the nerds in school. I believe it was human and social biology class. I don't even remember. I know it was third form. So long ago. Yeah, but we met. School was fun. School was crazy. School was joy. Lots of fun. And we really got closer in sixth form for chemistry class, because I don't know how we survived Cape Chemistry, guys, but Cape Chemistry was no joke. That was a pain in my brain. Anyway, there are no appropriate stories. I can, there are, but I can't think of them. There are no. Our chat should be played today. Anyways, we are the goofiest set of fools in the world. But yeah, illustration is not a must for a poetry book, at least not on the inside. I mean, everyone illustrates the inside of a book, but you don't really need to illustrate the inside of a book. It's a book. Words are the first thing, and we already covered how to write, So, yeah, at least I'm straying off script. So, and Canva is free, so you can really use that to design your book covers. I wanted to give Tariq a work, I also didn't really have any idea how to get what I wanted through Canva at the time. So I just hired an illustrator. I suggest a book cover at least, even though you don't need a book cover. Like, even if it's just like a squiggly line from Canva, that's a better book cover than just leaving it blank. We never judge a book by its cover until it's a book. That's something you learn quickly. Never judge a book by its cover until it's a book. Publishing for me was easy. Publishing. Easy 1, 2, 3 situation, because I just went through Amazon KDP, because they provided templates and all. They provided templates, and all I need to do was follow the description of the YouTube videos that I watched. I will link the YouTube videos. I watched. YouTube videos. I will also link Simon if you guys Simon's business if you want to get to want some editing done, in the description of the YouTube video, and will depend. And as it relates to copyright, none of the people I went to talk about copyright. Now, copyright is specific to your country, so that's something you need to check the laws of your country on how the copyright situation works. Now, finally, before I go, to all this yes, to all the aspiring writers out there, trust me, you can write your book and have it published by the end of 2023. By this date next year, by December 16th next year, you could have your book published, right? And I challenge you to do that. If you've been lollygagging on your publishing, if you've been lollygagging on your writing, I challenge you to have your book published by next year this time. I will have so say it with me, I will have my book published by the end of 2023. Maybe one day I'll be so experienced that I can give you all an in-depth overview of how to publish a book. But I'm just here for the story times. I'm just here for the laughs. I'm just here for the giggles. Just here to bring you joy in this poetry week. And I thought I would talk about the journey to publishing the book a little bit for this episode, because I really don't have anything else to talk about, unless you guys want to hear about all the love stories that I could tell from this year. But that's in a book for next year. Anyway, remember to follow us on, but things that have to do with next year will be published on next week, on the 20th. Everything having to do with next year. I was actually doing a meeting with myself today about all those things. So, but anyway, remember to follow us on Instagram at platt.s_poetry. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and podcast services at Platt's Poetry over on everything. Remember, if you want some spice in your life, follow us over on Twitter at Platt_13. I think for Christmas I'm gonna go around complimenting women that post pictures. I'm just gonna go around throwing poems at random people on the timeline. That should be fun. I don't know if I'll do it though, because I don't really want to get in no trouble. And finally, Platts, after you have liked and shared, remember that you are perfectly lovable, amazingly talented, and tough. I'm going to read you a poem from Poetry Week, and then I'm going to dip. But I just want to remind you, you are perfectly lovable. That meaning that no matter what anyone tells you, no matter what anybody says about you, you can be loved. You are worthy of love. You are capable of being loved. That's what perfectly lovable means. You are capable of being loved by someone, even if it is just yourself. You must remember, you are perfectly lovable. There's nothing wrong with you there. And even in your flaws, you are working to fix them to make yourself a better person. But your flaws do not make you unlovable. Your insecurities do not make you unlovable. You are perfectly lovable. Okay, that's what it means. You are amazingly talented. Amazingly talented means that you can do whatever you think you put your mind to, bro. You can build a rocket ship in your backyard. You can create a fishing hook and fish all weekend long. You can write a poem about missing a girl, and that girl will see this poem and not know it's about her. You can write a book in a year and publish it in a year because you are amazingly talented. Amazingly talented means there is no limitations on how excellent you can be. No limitations on what goodness you can create. No limitations, no nothing. You are amazingly talented. So not only are you worthy of being loved, or not only are you capable of being loved, you are capable of creating. You are capable of making beauty from nothingness. You are capable. And finally, you are tough, meaning that you can withstand the trials and tribulations, the things, the curveballs that life will throw at us, because life will throw at us curveballs, and you are tough enough to know which balls to duck, which balls to catch, which balls to throw back. My bro, you are perfectly lovable. What does that mean? It means that you are worthy of being loved. You are amazingly talented. That means that you can create beautiful things. You are tough, meaning that you know when to duck, you know when to catch, and you know when to throw back the balls that life throws at you. Now it's time for some poems, and then I'm out. I miss her. Do I miss her? Well, I wish days were forever, because the days are easy. I can distract myself with work or find conversation with others. But when night comes, when my mind is tired, my heart yearns for her company. Do I miss her? Well, I wish days lasted forever, because the days were easy. The days are easy. I can distract myself with food or find joy in TV shows. But when night comes, when my mind is tired, my spirit yearns for her energy. Do I miss her? Well, I wish days lasted forever, because the days are easy. I can distract myself with writing or drown myself in spoken poetry. But when night comes, when my heart stills and my mind yearns for her day's story, do I miss her? Well, I wish days lasted forever, because while the days are easy, when night comes, I yearn for her company, I yearn for her energy, and I yearn for her day's story. Do I miss her? Well, I wish days lasted forever, because I miss her just as much under the sun as I miss her under the moon, as I miss her while working, as I miss her while talking to others, as I miss her while eating, as I miss her when watching TV, as I miss her when writing, as I miss her when listening to poetry, as I miss her in my sleep, as I miss her while awake, as I miss her when I breathe. And if there exists a moment in time, and that's a big if, where I do not miss her, trust me that I spend that moment missing her, but I miss her. But at least during the day, I'm too busy to notice just how much I miss her. At least during the day, I don't have to fight the urge to tell her that I miss her. If you don't get it yet, I miss her. But will I ever tell her? That's it for today's episode of Platt's Poetry. I do hope you have a good, wonderful day. And remember, you guys are perfectly lovely, amazingly talented, and tough. Bye, 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 bye.